Hello, everyone. I am so excited because I have a very special guest today. Welcome, everyone, to BAG. We are having our weekly show, and one of the exciting things is that today is our 14th episode. Woohoo! We are doing it. Wow, it's so exciting to be doing this each week. I look forward to sharing information with you. As you know, this program is about authors and books, authors who have already written books, authors who are thinking about writing books, authors who someday will write a book, and authors who are laying back and saying, one day I'm going to get around to writing that book. I hope that's not you. So today we are blessed to have a very special guest. And for those of you who do not know her, her name is Nora Jackson, and I am very proud that she is my sister. So she's on the show today, and she is going to talk about the fact that she plans on writing a book. So I just want to let everybody know that we are here to stay. I'm having so much fun doing this program. So please help me welcome my sister Nora Jackson on the program today. Thank you, Nora, for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me on the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I just hope I get a lot of information about book writing today.
Well, actually, we're going to be asking you some questions today because we want to find out what you're all about and what you want to do. So, one of the things you mentioned that you might be interested in writing a book. So, tell me, what made you decide you want to write a book now?
I think because everybody is writing a book. Everybody is writing a book, and it kind of started the Nora, you need to write a book, juices flowing. I have had a lot of life experiences. I've had a lot of work experiences. And I said, there must be a book somewhere in there in me that I could write. And I think I would enjoy it. Right.
Well, I think you will too. Writing a book is something truly very special, and it's an opportunity for you to share a part of your life with people. And the great thing about it is that long after you're gone, you'll be influencing someone. So tell us, now that you've made this decision that you do want to write a book, what type of book are you interested in writing?
I'm not exactly sure what the first book will be, but I want to write an easy book, maybe a book for a workshop, a manual, a training manual, or a self-help book, something that is not going to challenge me too much for the first time. Right.
Well,
Because
you can take a self-help book and they're very easy to translate into a workshop or a seminar or something that you can do with it. Because most of the time when people do self-help books, they usually put in their steps to follow, suggestions of things that you can try. And in case there's someone out there who is thinking about how to turn their book into a workshop, you can take those steps and turn them into various types of workshops. You can create a little workbook for your workshop, or you can take each chapter and make it into a workshop, something that you can continue with people. There's many things that you can do with the book. So writing a book, I think, is one of the best things that you could possibly do, besides the fact it adds credibility to you. So if you were to choose to write a self-help book, what would it be about?
it would probably be about something that has to do with maybe personal development and confidence. That would be the first thing, since I've had some experience in personal development, image consulting, things like that, fashion show. How do you walks and turns? How do you, some of the old etiquette things that people no longer really practice, that maybe perhaps it can get started again, stimulated again, those
Well,
kind of things.
I gotta tell you, if I was watching the show and I saw you as you appear now, and you were talking about modeling and fashion, and I'm interested in modeling and fashion. I would want that book. I'd want to know what it is that you do, because just looking at you, you exemplify exactly what you are talking about. So that tells me you've done some modeling.
Yes, I have.
And have you done that professionally?
I would say with semi-professional modeling, I did fashion shows,
Hmm.
and we're talking more than a couple of decades ago. I also coordinated fashion shows for different organizations.
Hmm.
Right, yes, at that time. I belonged to the Foxes and Hares, a modeling organization, one of the first modeling organization for not only women, it was for men and women. It was started back in, I believe it was back in the 70s when it started. Modeling for Blacks really wasn't that popular at the time, right? But
Hmm.
Blacks were breaking into the industry. And so Bill Howard was the brains behind the Foxes and Hares modeling organization, which he turned it into a national modeling organization. So there were chapters all over the United States. And each and every year he would give a convention, and there would be Black models or models coming from different cities and states together for this convention, where he would have a contest for the model of the year, the photographic model, and different categories. And it was fun. It was really nice to give Black men and women an opportunity to model and be in the fashion industry.
I remember Bill Howard. You introduced him to me several decades ago. In fact, it was because of meeting him, them having their convention in Sacramento that year, that you also introduced me to Velma Stokely, who was the founder and CEO of the Miss Black Sacramento Beauty Pageant, which also went national. So, yeah, you had quite a quite a history there as far as the modeling is concerned. What made you get out of that?
Work and time, work only work and time, and
Mhm.
other interests, right? Other
Mhm.
interests. The things about that organization, it was one thing that more or less helped to build my confidence.
Mhm.
I'll never forget the first time I entered the contest. I didn't even place, and I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, I didn't even place." You know, what happened? What was it that I didn't do right? I was convinced I did something wrong, and after that, I said, "You know what? I really like modeling, and I really want to master the craft."
Mhm.
I guess it would be something like writing a book. Your first time, it might not be a hit, but as you continue to do it, you get better and better and better. Because eventually I did win the contest. Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. Well, I think writing about confidence and personal development would be wonderful. And it is an excellent way to do some self-help workshop for individuals. But not only that, you could take that and create some videos that you could sell, and you could even do some online courses with that particular subject. So um, kudos to you for deciding that you want to write a book in that direction. Not only that, I do believe it would be a wonderful thing for young ladies today, because
Right.
so many of them don't know the just the common courtesies, it seems to me. And having your book will be a great help. You can
Right.
influence this next generation. So,
Well,
well,
thank you.
you're welcome. Well,
Yes.
I'm excited for you. I think this is going to be terrific for you to
And
do something like this.
I'm glad you mentioned young ladies. I even thought about starting a nonprofit for young ladies. I thought that would be something, because a
Oh,
friend of mine, she does etiquette classes, and I said, "Oh, okay, well, maybe that's something I could write a book and start the nonprofit and teach the young girls, the young ladies."
well,
Right.
tell us more about that. Do you
What
need financing? I mean, you can, now's the time to let people know. If you're serious about doing this, let people know that you're welcome any kind of financial helps or people that they could direct you to.
Well, I'm on the first phase of just thinking about it right now, right?
Mhm.
Just thinking about it. But that's something that maybe you and I can get together and put something together.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, okay. Well, we'll definitely have to talk about this. Uh,
Yes.
well, I am just thrilled to have you on here, and I'm so excited about the fact that you made this decision. So, is there a is there a coach or someone that you are going to be working with since this is your first book?
Well, I don't have a coach right now, but I thought that I'd get quite a bit of help from my sister since she's written a book. That perhaps maybe you can give me a kickstart.
Mhm.
I think someone has a business called Kickstart. Well, I need a kickstart in book writing.
Well, the great thing about writing a book, especially in this world today, which I absolutely love, uh, is the fact that it does not have to be a 200, 300, 400 page book. I remember when I first started thinking about writing so many years ago, that was my greatest fear. How could I come up with enough information to fill up 200 pages? So, um, so you could get started with a book, and even with just 50 pages would be a good book.
Right. This book has 100 pages. It's not that bad.
Hmm.
Not
And
bad.
what book is that?
Oh, this is a handbook for building and sustaining Toastmasters program. And then I have another book on about speaking and getting clients by R.V. Robinson. And it has less than 200 pages.
Mm.
It's about almost 200 pages in that book. And then, I don't know, are these good books to write little tiny books like this?
Absolutely, absolutely. I have a
Yeah,
friend who does itty bitty books.
itty
And
bitty.
she would definitely love to work with you, I'm sure.
Well, these are itty bitty books right here. And they're about 100 pages. They're
Yeah.
about 100 pages. So I
Hmm.
don't think I want my book to be this little. No,
Hmm.
no, that's just too small. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is a nice size right here.
Mhm. Well, the great
Small.
thing is that you have options. You're not limited. And even better, if you wrote a book in 30 days, you could have it printed on the 31st or the 32nd day once you completed it. Whereas before, you would have to wait 6 months to hear from an editor as to whether or not they accepted your book, and then might be another 6 months to a year before it would actually get printed and out on to the market. So things have changed tremendously, and nowadays, so many people can uh, write your books. And I just personally feel that it's important to share your knowledge and experiences with others because you don't know who you're going to help, you know.
Right. This
Hmm.
is true. This is
Yeah.
true.
So tell us a little about Nora. Who is Nora, and what are some of the things that you would like to do? We know about the book, so tell us some other things about Nora.
Well, you know about the nonprofit, right? You know about that. I'm interested in coaching, life coaching. That's something else that I'm interested in as I've started a second career. I just left my full-time job back in December,
Hmm.
and I've been on lockdown with COVID. After 2 months, I've been on lockdown, basically not venturing out, canceling vacations and things like that. So I
That's has
haven't, yeah, I
I was
have,
just gonna say is COVID has certainly changed people's lives, and most people have taken it in a positive manner because they've sat back and looked at things that they can do. They've gotten closer to their families and things, and it's just you can choose how you want to look at it. I for myself, I thought about I could look at it negatively because everybody knows I like the move. I'm always trying to go someplace, do something. But it's been a wonderful opportunity for me to look at myself and say, you know what, here's what I really want to do. And now I have some time to plan it and implement it. So, it's all how you want to take a look at things.
Yes, and now I really have the time to put together any course or program that I like to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have the time to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need a little bit of guidance because I don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I don't know where to start
Yeah.
with my book,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or my course that I want to write.
Well, we can certainly, excuse me, we can certainly help you with that to get started. Now that we have some ideas about what it is you want to do, um, which is just awesome. I would truly believe in people writing. Uh, so you mentioned coaching. I know it's again a little off the subject,
Yeah.
but what type of coaching are you looking to do?
I like to help people. I like life coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are a lot of areas in our lives that we need a little boost,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I've gone through transformational programs and leadership programs and things like that. And I thought they were very, very helpful. But one thing about coaching, you must be coachable. Must be coachable in order to take advantage of a coaching program. You have to want it. Coach is not the one that wants it. It's you are the one that wants it. So it'd be the same as book writing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I got a coach that would help me to write my book, to start my book,
Mm-hmm.
that would be helpful for me because I'm open to coaching. Yes.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So have you thought about what demographics you're looking at or what age group, men, women?
Women, right. I like
Mhm,
to work with women to start out, right?
mhm,
That would be my ideal
mhm.
client or the ideal person that I'd like to work with. Yeah.
Young women, mature women,
All women.
seasoned women.
All women. Young women, seasoned women.
Which is great, and you can do that. But as I was told, you need to have a particular ones that you're focused at, because if you leave it just all women, no, you don't know who's, well, most women who are looking at it going, well, it's all women, what does that mean? How can she help me? So you might want to think about a demographic that really needs your help. I mean,
Well,
I know that
about
any of them would and could benefit from the knowledge that you have. I happen to personally know that Nora is a very talented woman, and she's has taught training, has done training, I should say, over the years for the company that she worked for. So she's very capable of doing what it is that she wants to do. So I am in total support of whatever it is you do. But I would like you to kind of narrow the focus down some.
well, I'll do that. I'll have to get coaching for that. Because now that's a whole nother ball game, a whole nother place where we're going.
Yes,
And that has to do with being
absolutely,
an
absolutely.
entrepreneur now.
Yes.
Right.
So, getting back to writing, uh, do you have any favorite authors?
No, I don't.
Really?
No, I don't. For the past, I don't know how many years of being in the workforce, I just haven't really taken the time to read anything other than school books, textbooks, and
Mhm.
things like that. It's
Mhm.
nothing for pleasure. Yeah,
So
no,
there's
I'm
no
not into.
particular genre that you might be interested in? As everybody know, I like romance stories.
Right,
You
right.
have any particular genre that you kind of lean toward?
No, I don't. No,
Really?
no, I don't. But you know, it'd be interesting to get back into
Mhm.
reading those kind of books. But after continuously years going to school reading textbooks, you
Mhm.
know, my first my first degree was in an associate degree in liberal arts. So we studied the arts, we studied philosophers and literature and music composers and
Mm-hmm.
all those kind of things. The degree that I got was in pre-law. So
Mm-hmm.
I studied law. It was just like going to law school. So I'm studying law, and I had law books and reference books and studying these cases and all of that, on and on. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the books. So when I finished that, no, I don't want to read. And then the next the next line of study was master's degree in organizational leadership. So now I'm
Mm-hmm.
studying leadership books and how organizations can better organize their workforce and things that they need to do, and problems and solutions for organizations for the betterment and helping
Mm-hmm.
leaders. So those were the type of things that I've been reading. So after that, it's like, no, I'm not reading love stories. No, I'm not. But years ago, I'll never forget, you recommended a book to me, and I did read it. And the name, and there was a character in the book. The name of the book, I think, was Mandingo.
Ah,
Mandingo,
yes.
right? I remember that book.
Yeah, my gosh.
It was
The
quite a book.
first I remember Mandingo. The first book I read by those two authors was Drum.
Okay,
Drum
right,
was the very first one I read, and that book, if I remember right, it was something like 300 or 400 pages. And it actually was a generational book. There, it started with the grandfather, whose name was Tambura,
right,
who
right,
I just fell in love with that character's name to the extent that when I had my son, I named him Tambura. But
right,
that's where I got the name from. That book, I love that those books. I just hated what they had to go through.
right,
It
right.
was, yeah, some of them was it was pretty horrific. Some of the stuff that they went through.
It
I was like,
was,
yes, I forgot I had recommended that book to you. I'm
well,
just ecstatic that you read it.
I did. There was some horrific stuff in there,
Hmm.
right, about um, the things that the blacks and went through as they were enslaved and things like that. It was
Hmm.
quite a book.
Yeah, it
I don't
was.
know if I read both Drum and Mandingo. Was it two
Uh-huh.
books? They were.
Uh-huh. Two separate books, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. I remember my son when he asked me where I had gotten his name from, and I told him, and he wanted a copy of that book, so I gave him my copy of it. And he kept that book with him all the time. When he went into the military, the book went right with him. So,
Wow.
yeah, so oh, that's that's wonderful that you remembered reading that, because
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about those books, to be perfectly truthful. Yeah. Okay, so is there anything that you'd like to share with us that perhaps I haven't asked of you?
I think I've covered just about everything. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sure we can think of a thing or two.
About me personally, I have what is it? I have 6 grandchildren and 1 great granddaughter.
All right, you hit the great mark.
Yes, I have hit the great mark. I am a great grandmother.
Oh, wow. It's amazing because I can still remember us as kids, and now we're both great grandparents.
Right, right. And
Exactly.
I'm
So,
constantly trying to coach them.
hmm, exactly.
I'm trying
Wonderful.
to the new millenniums.
Hmm.
They're a
Okay.
different group.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, everyone, I want to thank our guest Nora today for coming on the show. We truly appreciate you uh, being a part of the program and letting us delve into some personal things that maybe you weren't prepared for. So I appreciate the fact that you're here supporting them. Uh, we want to help everyone who's even thinking about writing, and you have that opportunity uh, to delve into it. And writing, sometimes it does seem like it's difficult. I can I can definitely relate. There are many times when I just stare at that computer or I'll stare at the tablet trying to figure out what to put on there. But I have some shortcuts or ideas that help me out. And one of those is to either just write down the fact that I'm not thinking of anything. And so I do that until something pops into my head. But another way, which I find is one of the easier, the better ways, is whatever you're writing about, find a book on that subject and flip through that book on whatever page you happen to fall on. Write those first two chapters, not chapters, I'm sorry, I meant paragraphs. Write those two paragraphs, word for word, what's in there. Then go back and read those two paragraphs and decide how you would say what you just read. That will get you started in writing because no two people think alike or write alike. So, for example, in my book, there's, let's see, I'm looking at chapter 2, and it says, my journey began when a friend was to be a guest speaker at a Words Have Power summit and asked me to come to support him. Now, he is a very popular person, very well liked, and I knew for a fact he had invited quite a few people to attend his speaking engagement. So I started thinking, he doesn't need me there. He probably won't even notice if I don't show up. Now, if I just wrote that, I might go back and say, I don't know if I would start out saying my journey began. I might say something different. I might say the road to all the obstacles in my life that made a big difference, and we'll go on from there. Whatever it is that you want to do. The point of it is you can take, and yes, I am advertising. This is my book that I wrote, and it's called Courage to Live My Dream. You can find it on Amazon.com. But you can take what you read and write it down word for word, and then go back and say, okay, I would change this word for this. I would say it this way. And that gets you started writing. And sometimes it's all you need to get going. It may turn out to be just the thing to have your subject matter taken care of. So just one of those suggestions I'm making is a way to get going.
Yeah, but you really don't want to plagiarize, right?
No, no, no. I did I not say you would change it? You would change it. And in fact, you don't even, once you've written it and you start changing it, it's not going to be the same as somebody else's. It's just a way to get your brain to start thinking about words that you would use, because sometimes it is difficult to get started. And that's one way to help out. So any of you who are interested in reading, please go to my website, my blog site, I should say. It's www.lawanasblog.com. I have started back to blogging. In fact, I have a new blog that will be coming up tomorrow morning. So just mosey on over there to lawanasblog.com and read it. All right. So I like when I'm talking about writing, I don't just be talking for the sake of hearing myself. I truly do like putting words on paper and for them to have a meaning. Um, my sister Nora has expressed an interest that she wants to do the same, and whatever I can do, of course, I will be there to help her. But there's so much to writing, and I know some of the things that my sister has experienced over the years, and if she just put that stuff, some of it into books, there are so many people who would benefit from her knowledge. So I'm encouraging you to do the same thing. And as I mentioned to her earlier, long after we are gone, her words could make a great difference in someone's life. Look at Napoleon Hill. We're still reading his books, still quoting things that he put on paper. So, you just don't know the number of people whose lives you may influence. So again, Nora, before I close out, do you have any closing thoughts, remarks you'd like to make?
just want to say thank you. I'm excited to get started on writing my book, and that anyone out there that's thinking about writing a book, hey, now's a great time and get started and get somebody to help you.
Well, thank you, Nora. We're so happy to have you on the show today. Really appreciate the fact that you came on and shared with us. I want to thank all of you who took the time to spend a few minutes with us and listen to my sister Nora and I speak about writing. And I want to encourage you again to pick up that pen and paper or get to that keyboard and start pounding out the things that's up there in your head that maybe you've been holding back. Again, go to my blog, lawanasblog.com. Read some of the blog posts I have over there. I have a new one that will be up tomorrow morning. So don't forget to go over and check that out. And as always, please leave comments and like it and share it. All right. So I appreciate you doing that. With that, we again say goodbye. Thank you. And remember to stay safe and keep the faith. Until next time.